Hello once again YouTube, Chris the Nightbringer here, bringing you some StarMade today, some StarMade station reviews, and today we're checking out Outpost by Delmont. So, I know this is a favorite of the community, but I'm going to be approaching this as, somebody that doesn't speak to Delmont, or somebody that hasn't even seen a lot of Delmont's work. This is one of the few things that I've seen from him and had a chance to really take a look at. So yeah, let's begin with this review. So, immediately we can see that the external bits of the station are just absolutely covered in detail. Every inch of it has been thought about and given some sort of a bit of attention. We've got some large panels down here doing, what they do. Not sure what. I'm not sure if they're armor or if they're some sort of like antenna dish or something, a deflector of some sort. They are articulated, and this is something that I haven't seen a lot of people do before, is add articulating joints to the, the struts of, their features. It looks like we've got some sort of thing going on here with this central piece and these little things sticking out of the side aiming at it. I'm not sure if those are intended to be connected, but I'm going to say that they are, just because they're there. There is a single blue line here. I don't know what that's all about. And down here we have this like little ring thing, and this is really awesome because even though Delmont could have made this thing flat, he decided that it would have looked better if there were more angles to it, if it had a little bit of depth, not a lot of depth, just another layer to this entire little structure, and it instantly makes it a lot more interesting to look at. It looks more mechanical than it would have if it was just a flat piece. So coming up, we can see that there's greebles here. There's definitely a lot of greebles underneath the station. Lots of patterns, lots of shapes and forms. Shadows are being cast all over the place. And you can really see that there's a lot to look at when you look under the station, You're not going to lose interest because you're constantly darting your eyes around. The greebles have been added here as well. One thing I would like to mention is that I'm not entirely sure if Delmont realized this himself, but the majority of the lighting is done with crystal wedges or crystal blocks. And if Delmont had used blue lights, and I'll point this out now with my own blue light, if Delmont had taken a blue light, and see how light this area is? Had he taken a blue light, it would have been a bit darker. And as you place more of them, it lightens it up a bit. But this area right here is dark. A darker blue, I should say. Whereas the crystal wedge that he used is very light. And I think that's pretty important, and I'm not sure if Delmont realized this himself, but the blue hull is pretty dark compared to the light given off by these wedges, and it distinguishes them from the hull color itself. The crystal lights suddenly are more of a light than they are of just a hull color that is being thrown onto the surrounding areas, So if, I took a blue light, on some areas it may be darker. Obviously around the light it's a bit bright and more closer to the crystal wedge colors light, right? But again, if he had used blue lights more often, a lot of this may have seemed darker, just by a little bit. Oop. And I'll demonstrate that now. And again, I'm not sure if he used this, but it's a little bit darker. You can see it. Not necessarily near the light, but it's a little bit darker. Just a tiny bit. And that's something interesting that I noticed. I'm not sure if Delmont did that on purpose or not, because of that reason, or another. But I just wanted to point that out. So we have, details on the door. I'm sure with the new Plex door wedges, Delmont will be wanting to clean this up a little bit, because I have no doubt that these were supposed to connect diagonally instead of with a block. This bit right here is very reminiscent of the current little antenna things that you can find dangling off the abandoned stations, which is pretty nice. And of course the dome itself is a callback to that, and obviously inspired by that design, which is why this is a bit traditional in a sense. Got the ring, got the dome, got the hangers below. Some more paneling that sticks out. Just random little things. design here. You can notice that he's got hardened hull, or should I say advanced hull. Oh god, very glitchy. Advanced hull next to regular standard armor, right? And that gives it a bit more detail just by throwing in a different texture. It's something I haven't really seen done so far yet with the submissions, but, you know, it's definitely something you can utilize in your builds. I am wondering if there was a specific reason as to why this itself was not wedged, like so much of the rest of the station was. I personally am wondering as to why it was wedged in this manner instead of using Pentas and Tetras. Perhaps Delmont thought it was cleaner this way, perhaps it was faster to do it this way, I'm not sure. But I think if you're building a ring, it would have paid off to try and make it as smooth as possible with the Pentas and Tetras. But I'm not going to speak for Delmont, I have no idea why he did this. So, there you go. I really like the colors as well. He's used a lot of black, which I don't think I've seen so far in a trading guild station. It's not a bad idea to use, you know, different color schemes. Black is definitely a secondary color. The gray is just the backdrop, I suppose. Where, in fact, black is on here more than the blue is, which is interesting. It makes it a little bit darker. So let's pretend that we've opened up our hangar door and we're going to dock. There's layering to this docking area, which is really nice. Little details like this and patterns, stuff like that. He's got the lights in here for the directional signals and whatnot. A lot of lights. There's some depth added underneath this grate by implementing this lower section with little details and all sorts of stuff. Some lighting as well, of course. So I know there's a gravity elevator. We're going to ignore that. I know it works. We're going to come up here, and the gravity elevator would stop you here. We've got this structure here. I'm assuming this is the Plexon Detonator. That's a strange position, I'll be completely honest. I was not expecting that to be up there. It's a little bit out of place. I think I would have put it somewhere else, somewhere more noticeable. Perhaps right on this little platform here, where you immediately get off from the elevator. We can see that he's using the corners to make these struts, which is really nice because I haven't seen that happen a lot with the corners. So far, I got some hazard stripes up here for some reason. No data. Medical cabinet with some supplies. Got some more depth thrown in here with this stuff down here. You can see moving bits. It gives a little bit of life to a station, you know, there's stuff going on underneath the walls, which is really nice. Got a habitation module. It's very empty, and I said this in the last episode, I personally don't think it's wrong to throw in, you know, random stuff inside these empty areas, even if the intent is to let the player decide for themselves what can go inside these areas. The player can still come in here with a build block and either remove them and place their own objects, or completely rearrange them with minimal effort, especially with the new build options. So I see no reason why this should remain so empty. But that being said, Delmont did give a specific reason for why it was like that, and that was so that the player could decide for themselves. So let's come back in here. We got the habitation areas, or not the habitation, but the biomes from the planets, and we can see that he's added some lights to amplify the effects of these biomes and their feeling that they are supposed to, you know, give you. You know, this is rocky desert and it's supposed to feel hot, so he's throwing down some orange lights into the ground there. This grassy area is supposed to be nice and nature and pretty, but I'm not gonna lie, the green lights are kind of weird. I feel like this is a little bit out of place. I don't really expect my grass to glow, but I understand what he was trying to go for. The purpley area is all purple and alien and kind of creepy. And this icy area is cool and glowing with blue light. I suppose these things right here are supposed to be the poles holding up this little awning of some sort with a little Plex storage and a monitor there. And I suppose you would be getting up to this, or down to it, with these little ramps, small as they may be. I do wish there was a little bit more obvious way of getting down there, but I guess that's okay. It works. And last but not least, I would like to see the dome. Personally, because it's a dome and because it's a smooth glass structure, I would have liked to have seen it wedged with the pentas and tetras. I don't know if anyone else would agree with me on this. But again, it is a smooth glass object, and it's a little chunky. It's a chunky, sharp, and potentially dangerous glass object because of the use of just regular blocks. So, that's what I have to say about Dalmont's Outpost. Overall, interior design is like, oh, I don't know, an 8 or a 9, and again, that's because there are some empty spaces. I think he could fill them up. I know he wants the player to be able to do that themselves, but it really isn't a hassle for a player to reorganize things or remove blocks that they don't want. So I don't see why you can't place your own little features in there. He's certainly done a good job with what he's already placing in there already. External design is like a 10 out of 10 because holy crap, every inch of this station has been thought about, every inch has been covered. I would like to see the dome and potentially this get different wedging just to see what it would look like. I'm not saying that one way is right over the other, but I would like to see if it would, in my opinion, look different and perhaps give off a different vibe than this sharp wedged ring. Other than that, the details on this thing are really crazy and awesome, and he's really put a lot of thought into it. And that's quite obvious. Overall execution, I'd say it's a 9 out of 10. I wouldn't say that it's exactly a Trade Guild station immediately. It does have the colors, but it does feel a little bit different than the Trade Guild stations that I've seen so far. This one isn't so focused on trade. It's focused on, you know, the biomes and the habitat module inside. But that being said, I have no problem with this being, you know, somebody's Trade Guild station that they put into the game themselves. It does have their colors, and you know, there's no reason why the Trading Guild would not have a station like this, you know? So that's pretty cool. But there you have it. That's the Outpost by Dalmont. I hope he is happy with what he's made, and I certainly am, and I'm sure many others are as well. So yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe for more if you want to see more of these station reviews, as well as some of the other things that I do on my channel. And I will see you guys for the next station review. Approaching this as, you know, somebody that doesn't speak to Dalmont, or somebody that hasn't even seen a lot of Dalmont's work. This is one of the few things that I've seen from him and had a chance to really take a look at. So yeah, let's begin with this review. So, immediately we can see that the external... Hello once again YouTube, Chris the Nightbringer here, bringing you some StarMade today, some StarMade station reviews, and today we're checking out Outpost by Dalmont. So, I know this is a favorite of the community, but I'm going to be a pro of like a antenna dish or something, you know, a deflector of some sort. They are articulated, and this is something that I haven't seen a lot of people do before, is add articulating joints to the, you know, the struts of, you know, their features. It looks like we've got some sort of thing going on here with this central piece and these little things sticking out of the side aiming at it. I'm not sure if those are intended to be connected, but I'm going to say that they are, just because they're there. Bits of the station are just absolutely covered in detail. Every inch of it has been thought about and given some sort of a bit of attention. We've got some large panels down here doing, you know, what they do. Not sure what. I'm not sure if they're armor or if they're some sort of